Earlier we talked about viruses, worms, Trojan horses, spyware, keyloggers, all sorts of nasty things that you don't want on your computer. And of course we need to at some point acknowledge malware protection. Often goes by antivirus, but today very few of them are just virus detectors. They will detect other kinds of malware, including some we haven't talked about. We didn't talk about rootkits and various others, but of course it's necessary to have these on your machine. Now if you're a Windows user, you already have something called Windows Defender, and it's really not a bad malware protection software. It sure beats what Windows used to have in it, which was not very good at all. In fact, if I go down to the search and I just type Windows Defender, and I'll go to Windows Security and then open up Virus and Threat Protection. You'll notice that it doesn't say Windows Defender. This is an interesting thing. If you have third-party antivirus or anti-malware, it will actually incorporate itself into your Windows operating system. So you see I'm using something called Panda Dome. If I did not have Panda Dome on, Windows Defender would be here. So even though Windows Defender is already on my machine, the thing is that it's really not a good idea to have more than one type of antivirus software running at the same time. And so today Windows is smart enough to shut down the antivirus aspect of its own Windows Defender and to substitute it for the third-party one that I use. Now there are still pieces of Windows Defender that are available. For example, the Windows Defender Firewall and Network Protection. This is all provided by Windows Defender. However, the anti-malware portion of it has been replaced. Also, let's see, I wanted to go back over to here. Another thing that we have that helps defend us is that user account control. What's actually going on here when we see this box pop up is, hey, you're about to do something that's going to change the way your system works. For example, install a new piece of software, and normally what's going on is that your machine, assume you're running a Windows machine. If your machine, anytime you're on your machine as your username, most likely your user is an administrative user. That is to say, it has access to administrative things like changing system files and so on. However, Windows runs as though you are only a user, not an administrator. And in order to do something to change your computer, this thing pops up. And when it pops up, it's asking you really if you want to elevate your privileges to administrative privileges. And so anytime you see this, it's time to pause and stop and think about, what am I doing, and is this safe, and do I really want to let it make this change? This has been one of the greatest boons towards security that Microsoft has ever come up with. If I don't trust this piece of software, and it doesn't come from a trusted source, look here, it says publisher unknown, then would I really want to click yes? And I know most users they see this thing, it just wants to get out of the way, so they just click yes and keep going. Don't do that. So this is great anti-malware protection.